To be or not to be, that is the question. Whether people are in the mind to suffer the slings and arrows of outrageous fortune, or to take arms against a sea of troubles, and by opposing end them, to die, to sleep, no more, and by a sleep to say we end the heartache and 1,000 natural shocks.
What could that have been about except to hedge or not to hedge?
The modern day odd couple, Defo and Lubie, are on now. It is, of course, the Defo Show.
All right, welcome back to the show on this Wednesday edition of the program here on South Florida Live. Jeff DeForest, Mike Lubie, Lubitz, and I would imagine, this gentleman has seen Lubie's very versatile and expansive talents on the football field. But I don't know, Charlie Partridge, did you ever envision Lubie doing Shakespeare at any time in your experience, knowing us as you do?
Well, it's funny you ask because I couldn't understand it. I stood up and moved. That's what I had bad phone reception. So no, they definitely did not see that coming. Thanks for asking.
Yeah, definitely you're going to see Lubie, doing Hamlet on Broadway for sure.
How are you guys? It's good to hear from you.
We're doing well. I mean, the last time I saw you, you were involved, and this has been crazy. College football, I don't think could have been more exciting than it has been in the last couple of weeks. I mean, leading all the way up to a championship game where, again, TCU is going to be a Cinderella story. But having covered some UCLA football when I lived in California, I have a small affinity for the program. And yet I was delighted to see you guys in another one of these wild shootout games defeat UCLA. I mean, how big was that for you? And, that had to be some experience because a lot of these ball games, especially the most important ones, have been a complete roller coaster ride.
Yeah, it was really exciting. The week leading up to the game, it was the hospitality there. The people that put the bowl game on there, amazing. And then we were as excited as anything to be playing a ranked opponent. We felt like we finished the season really well. Went 4-0 down the stretch, and then we were excited to play a team that had a good season as well. And quite honestly, we had quite a few number of kids that decided they were going to move on and get ready for the NFL, and we were missing 8 to 10 starters. So in a lot of ways, we had to shift our mindset in terms of what we were going to use and prepare and keep it simple, but also get a preview of what we could potentially look like in 2023. And the off season is always so much better, guys, when you win a bowl game. And it was, like you said, it went down to the wire. They have a great quarterback who's going to play in the NFL, we believe. And, but he ended up getting hurt, and their backup came in, and to their credit, drove down to score there was less than 40 seconds. It was 30 some seconds before Nick Patty, our quarterback, who took over and drove down and put us with no timeouts and put us in the field goal position. And our freshman field goal kicker was ice, man. He was 5 for 5 on the day. It was impressive.
And that has to be a real relief. Because I don't know, is there a shortage of guys who can actually kick the ball straight in college football? I mean, it seemed like, unfortunately, one of our friends who gets involved in wagering on these games fairly substantially was ruined by kickers. I mean, he literally took his Lou the Toe Groza statue and fired it into the pool after several tough beats this year. Is it not easy to find a guy who can do that? I mean, you have to be thrilled. A freshman goes 5 for 5 in a clutch. Oof.
Yeah, I didn't realize it till someone told me that he was, because he missed a couple earlier in the year, which you almost anticipate from a freshman.
Yeah.
We could see in practice the kind of leg that he had, and quite honestly, you can find kids with leg talent. It's a matter of, I think it's their mental strength, because kickers, half of them are somewhere in the crazy zone.
Yeah.
Seriously, these guys, I've worked with them quite a bit over the years, and I mean that as a compliment, because you have to be a little bit crazy to sit there the whole game, and essentially, you're going to have somewhere with, including kickoffs, probably 8 total reps on the day, and all you do is sit there on the sideline and try and stay warm and think about your rep. It's not like you're playing a normal position where you get so many plays in a row to find your rhythm. No, you don't have time to find your rhythm. You get out there and you make it. And this kid is really mentally strong and did a great job.
No, it's quite an accomplishment and absolutely fantastic. Kickers, knuckleballers, and goalies, I think. Probably. I'm not sure which order would qualify as the weirdest of the weird when it comes to athletes in a category.
Ironically, I don't know enough about goalies to be able to say this.
Yeah.
Knuckleballers last a long time in their profession.
Yes.
Kickers, if they're good, last a long time in their profession. Is that true for goalies as well? I don't know.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, unfortunately, we happen to always hire the guy that goes blind, in his latter years with the Panthers. But other than that, they can last a long time. All right. What do you think? TCU Cinderella story, Charlie Partridge? I know you're a huge fan all the way around when it comes to college football.
Yeah.
Were you surprised to see them beat Michigan? And then, speaking of kickers, this Ruggles, who looked like he was built, to come through in these situations. Everything in his resume suggested he was going to make this kick for Ohio State, like your team did. They drive down in dramatic fashion, final seconds, put themselves, with a chance to go to the title game. Only to see, one of the uglier shanks. I don't know. Do you golf, Charlie? I would imagine don't all coaches have to golf? Is that a prerequisite for being a coach?
Yeah. Well, I'll be honest. I'm one of the few that would rather push mow all 18 holes than play all 18 holes. It doesn't, for me, it just doesn't compute. I get upset when I don't do well, and then I swing harder, and then everyone tells me to stop swinging harder, and everybody's a golf coach when you golf.
Yeah, a lot of tips out there.
It doesn't click. It doesn't click with my brain, but there is a huge, like I said, I've worked with kickers over the years, and most kickers do golf. The carryover is so real in terms of consistency of swing. You even talk to them about with their foot keeping the club face open. There is a huge carryover with regards to kicking in golf. But the TCU question that you asked, I wasn't surprised. That's no disrespect to Michigan. Michigan is a great team that had an outstanding season, but I'd seen TCU enough through the course of the year, and I think to watch their championship game that they actually dropped against Kansas State. But that performance by the quarterback was honestly inspiring. Some of the things that he did in that Big 12 championship loss told me that this kid is special. And when you have a special quarterback, you have a chance in every single game that you're in. I mean, every outstanding season I've been a part of, it had a quarterback as a part of it, and that kid is something special. And as talented and as great as Georgia is, would not surprise me that thing goes down to the wire and comes down to the last few plays for either team. To be honest with you.
Did you ever coach special teams during your long tenure as a coach?
I did. When Coach Wanstead, I was hired by a gentleman named Walt Harris at Pittsburgh the first time I was here. And Coach Wanstead, when he got hired, kept me and moved me into a role that put me in charge of special teams. I was also coaching defensive positions as well. But, I was in charge of all of them, and I had to learn. He put me in touch with some incredible special teams. One of them, Coach Armstrong, who was down there with the Dolphins a long time, put me in touch with him and some other really, Darren Rizzi, some other really, who might sound familiar to people down there, but he put me in touch with some of the best in the business and taught me those positions. Jamie Cole, who very few people know unless you're in this world. He's one of the premier national Corn Blue, who's local down there. He's a great one. All guys that I've learned from, and it's working with the specialists and coaching those units. It's a unique opportunity. It really taught me a lot during those times. And the thing I loved about it was I got to know the entire team, even though I wasn't the head coach. When you're in charge or working with special teams, you get to know people across your position group, and I really enjoyed that.
Yeah, because I was wondering, in the general text of fundamentals of special teams, where did Lincoln Riley get that defense of the onside kick where he spread his guys out like the Red Sea had been parted and then watched the ball go 15 yards downfield in this game against Tulane? I don't know if you saw this, but it was probably the worst defense of an onside kick I've ever seen.
I've never seen it drawn up that way, so I couldn't tell you where he got that one.
Just right down the middle. Come on. Somebody's got to grab the ball. No, you got it. You got it. You got it is not a good thing to hear from the sidelines, is it, when you're coaching?
No. Maybe some business decisions made on that play, at the end of that one.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, no, that was ugly, and it cost them the game. I mean, and beyond that, they tried to stuff a run up the middle after they just got stuffed on the previous play and end up with a safety. I mean, horrific. Some huge turnarounds in these games. All right, is Georgia invincible? They opened up as 13.5 point favorites. I thought that was very generous. If I was inclined to wager on a ball game, I probably would have taken a shot with TCU in that one at that rate, and that point spread is kind of diminishing a little bit, not overwhelmingly so, down to 12.5. But are Horned Frogs not in there with a bit of a shot?
Yeah, it's a tough one to call. I'm not surprised by the spread. I mean, Georgia's just so overwhelmingly talented. Their quarterback obviously has had an outstanding career. They have defensive players. All the players they lost would have 5 drafted in the first round last year, something off the chart. And just managed to defend them with guys of similar talent. I mean, Kirby has done a great job of building a program there, not team. He's got something really special going there. They are going to be tough to beat. But when you look at some of the intangibles and along with the talent and speed, I mean, the thing that TCU does have is speed, and what speed leads you to have the opportunity to make is big plays, right? And if they get a chance to score on some big plays against Georgia, then they'll certainly be in it. Invincible, no. I think Missouri took Georgia to the wire, if I remember correct.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I don't care how good you are at saying, ignore the noise and this and that. With social media today, these kids see everything, and you're not going to be able to throw away the newspaper. That doesn't exist anymore. The reality is, will Georgia's players be affected by the fact that everybody expects them to beat you by 2 touchdowns? Obviously, TCU can use that as motivation. They have been the whole way. So I think it's going to be a closer game than that. I think Georgia's going to be tough to beat, but boy, if the spread stays there, I would think it'd be hard for Georgia to beat the spread.
All right, everybody, and we thought of you, and wanted to get your comments and characterization of what turns out to be, and we're finding out to be just a remarkable young man. You always love the story. This kid played at Pittsburgh. We're talking about Damar Hamlin, who was, struck with a heart attack, and still is hospitalized and listed in critical condition. Although maybe there are some signs, I guess, are starting to indicate that things are more favorable than I originally thought. But by all accounts, I mean, everything that we see, this kid was a wonderful kid. He was living a dream. 6th-round pick. He had become an instrumental part of the Buffalo Bills, one of the best teams in the National Football League inside of 2 years, an integral part of their defense. So you had him on your squad at Pittsburgh. What can you tell us about Damar Hamlin? Because he seems like he is the epitome of everything that you would like to see in a young man who had a good college career and made his way into the pros.
Absolutely. And to be honest with you guys, and I had mentioned this going into it, we've been asked a little more comments. We just want to make sure that the messaging stays correct and that nothing gets misunderstood. But I can say this, Damar is a wonderful young, and loves 2 things. He loves football and he loves his family. His little brother was around our program all the time. And I want to just kind of leave it at this, that everyone keep praying for him. The world is a better place with Damar Hamlin, period. He's absolutely wonderful. I can't say enough about him. And again, we've been asked to keep it limited. Just we love him and we're praying for him. And like I said, the world's a better place with him in it.
Yeah, and if one thing has surfaced out of these seemingly catastrophic circumstances, which, as everybody, I think, around the country, Charlie is just hoping to hear some good news coming out of this. It's just, you see a guy laying on the field, you're hoping he gives the thumbs up or starts to move his extremities or whatever whenever these things occur. And we're just hoping for some good news to come, from the spokespeople at the hospital about his condition. But, wow, I mean, everything about this young man makes you feel very, very positive about life. And it's, heartwarming to see the response and the amount of people that have not only expressed their concerns, but donated to his charitable efforts and really kind of made this a story where everybody's in unison rooting for him to have a quick and full recovery. Charlie, always a pleasure. Thanks so much. Congratulations, man. Wild stuff at the end of the college football season. I know you'll be tuned in, on the championship night there, and hopefully things will again be prosperous for you again next year. And we look forward to talking to you many, many times, and maybe seeing you during the off season.
Yes.
I mean, name, image, and likeness. Would it be too much for Joey Esposito to lay a couple of $100,000 on a kid that happens to be able to run a 4.340 and catches everything in sight?
Hey, things in terms of NIL, we're not allowed to be involved, and certainly anyone that wants to be involved, they're certainly allowed to have anyone present their business that they choose to have represent.
We're trying to lead you down any number of sordid paths here today, Charlie. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to do that.
Partridge knows to stay away.
It's open season with these shows. Yeah.
No doubt. I would expect nothing less. Hey, I appreciate you guys. Happy New Year, man. Hell to PITT. Have a great one, guys. Thank you.
All right. Thanks so much. Appreciate it. Yeah. I mean,